So, welcome everybody for the meetup that is going to be all about building a really solid growth strategy today with a new case study where you can learn at a real concrete example from a startup here from Düsseldorf, Germany, and on how I'm thinking about creating a custom growth strategy for them. I think this will make it much more applicable for you in the real world. And I really hope you enjoy this. And again, you get all the information at the link getpirateskills.com/growth strategy. And I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. So the four main sections that we want to handle today are like what makes a good growth strategy, then setting the right growth goals, then drafting real marketing funnels, like preliminary funnels in your head, and how I think about that before I go into actually implementing them. And then I want to draw like a growth roadmap that is like a prioritized list of stuff that I want to do. And at the end, as always, we have the big Q&A. If you're watching this afterwards, this is the first of 5 video segments, and watch out for the other ones. We are going to handle now the growth marketing strategy one. All right, in case you don't know me, I'm Ben. I'm a founder myself. I started my first startup around 2008 while I was studying psychology, and I just fell in love with the topic of growth marketing. To me, it's like the perfect cross-section of like psychology, business, and data science. Yeah, this is like where I feel at home the most. This is why 4 years ago I started this Pirate Skills community. Now all of you have joined, and I'm super glad to have you here tonight. And I've been working and living in the whole growth marketing thing since 12 years, and I made so many mistakes that I hope you can avoid. And I just want to share my best practices today on how I think about creating like a growth strategy from scratch. So what is a growth strategy? A growth strategy to me has 6 very distinct components, and let's talk about them. But what is the main goal of any growth marketing strategy? For me, it is to get people smooth through the customer journey, to get more people smoother from acquisition to activation, retention, referral, and then of course, revenue. This is our growth marketing treasure map, and this mental model has helped me so much to always figure out the bottleneck of any business you have. You can switch some of the labels here on this treasure map for you so that it fits your business model, but all of us have this in common. We try to get customer to our website or onto our mobile apps or on the phone. We try to build trust, see if we can provide the right value for the right price for them, and then they become customers, and we want to keep them as loyal customers and hopefully as evangelists for our business. And somewhere in this customer journey, people are getting more stuck than in other parts. So this is the model that helps me to find that, to really hone in onto the biggest bottleneck or the biggest potential I have in my business model. And this is what I always keep on coming back to. So that is the broad goal. But how do we get there? For me, this all needs to relate to practical things. If this is just theory, it's worthless to me. I always hit my ideas against hard cases, and during the next 6 meetups, we will have the Monday Rocks case. That is a real world startup here from Düsseldorf in Germany. And I want to tell you a bit about them and why we have chosen this case. So Monday Rocks is an app that helps to architect the perfect team structure and to help team leaders have more successful teams. You can check them out at monday.rocks. I love their logo and their own team culture over there. And they are mainly a B2B business. So they are serving small, medium, and large companies. And they have 2 parts of their business model. The one is the consulting business, the team development part, and the other one is the software, the team analytics part. And they are going after really high value, high customer lifetime value targets. Why is that important? If your customer, like with the past team I worked with, EcoCut, their lifetime value was like 13 euros because they sold a little widget, yeah, which was cutting the windshield wiper and making it new. And if you have such a low customer lifetime value, like 13 euros revenue, not profit, then you have to make direct sales. You have to make it work. They can see one ad, maybe two ads, then they have to click and buy, that's it. But if you have a high customer lifetime value, you can really do so much for your customers. You can really craft the customer journey in much more detail, and you can afford a much higher cost per acquisition per customer. Yeah, so that's why I mentioned that this case has this, this not limitation, but this particularly attribute. Yeah, high customer lifetime value audience. Then they are targeting people in HR, maybe the CEO and the team leaders who are using the app in the end. And what they want to do is they want to strengthen their sales, which is really working well, through inbound marketing. So ideally, they would, in the future, generate more leads coming in, asking them for support, either with the software and with consulting. So that is the goal and the case that we are after. And now the question is, how can we help this case to get people more smoothly through the customer journey? And to me, I have found 6 aspects of growth marketing that are absolutely the same, no matter what your business model is, that you have to focus on and have to learn and master in order to get where you want to go. Yeah, to have more happy, profitable customers. So let's look at them one by one. The first one is the growth roadmap. Here we want to set a very clear and challenging goal. So think about it. Think about the case of Monday Rocks. Think about your own case. What would be a meaningful and challenging goal here? Is it to generate leads, or before that even traffic or sales? Or should the focus be revenue? Should it be return of investment? We have to decide what we want to focus on, and we're going to talk about that later. Once you have defined your goal, though, you now have to think about what is going to resonate. What is the value that I'm providing, and how am I communicating that value? For Monday Rocks, it is, of course, like team performance, team harmony, team efficiency, maybe a better fit into some culture, maybe stress relief in a team that simply works. We really have to think about this qualitative aspect of the growth marketing strategy, because if your value isn't there and your customer doesn't understand it or get it, you won't sell anything, yeah, or at least not profitably in most cases. Then, once you've communicated your message, and let's say we focus on LinkedIn for the communication, and we have a great company and personal profiles that communicate the value of team analytics, people now need to go somewhere to learn more about that product. And you can send them directly into a checkout and ask them to buy the product. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to build a funnel that generates leads, that then nurtures those leads into prospects and customers. That's what we are going for. And because we're nerds and it really helps us to scale and learn faster, we also try to measure each step of that customer journey. Person clicked on the ad, landed on the landing page, checked it out for so and so long, then clicked the call to action button, filled out the sign up form, made an appointment, actually turned up at the appointment or to the webinar. They talked to us. It was an interesting talk. They want to have a proposal. The proposal gets now being discussed. Then they go into the sales cycle, and then they buy, and then they have some contract revenue. They maybe have increasing customer lifetime value over time, and you have certain costs against certain expenses. That's what we want to measure. Yeah, and I'm serious. All of those steps will reveal to us if our experiments that we implement are working or not working. So next part is then being able to scale through paid or organic traffic channels into profitable campaigns. Yeah, if you have profitable campaigns, you don't have an ad budget anymore. Imagine you would be 100% sure that every 1,000 euro that you spend, it will result in 1,250 euros. How often would you do that? Probably not just once a month. You would look for opportunity to do this daily. Yeah, if possible, more than once daily. So identifying and really fighting to get that profitable traffic channel, that's the focus in that aspect. Last but not least, the sixth aspect is all about optimizing that conversion path and to make the journey more smooth, to make all of the steps working together, the funnel, the content, the traffic, the analytics, and to really study your customer and craft it in a way that they really start loving that product. Yeah, so that is the sixth aspect. So that's what I do about once a quarter, I would say. I try to focus on one of these segments and review my goals, my message, my funnel, my analytics, my traffic, at least on a quarterly basis. But once a month, I really focus very, very heavily on one of those aspects. Today, it's all about the roadmap. All right, that is what growth strategy is to me. If you have any ideas what you like and what you would suggest to add to a growth strategy, I would really love to hear that in the comments or in Discord. And let's check off this box and talk about setting the right growth goal, which is the most important next step to me in a growth strategy. You can see that in the next segment of this video series. So again, you always have the chance to ask questions about it. Let me show you if any new questions have come in. If you have just joined, if you go to slido.com and enter the code R, or just scan the QR code with your phone, you will land on this tool. Let me show you. Oh yeah, there are already new questions here. Oh yeah, that's cool. So we will answer those questions at the end. As you can see, you also have the chance to upvote those questions. I need to upload the IMAC questions as often as possible, so I can definitely discuss it. And we will handle those questions at the end of the meetup. So thank you very much for providing the first questions, and keep on adding. We're gonna have a lot of fun at the end, and you can ask really detailed stuff for your case. So that's that. And if you haven't heard yet, the experience is optimized for YouTube. If you're already there, I would love to ask you to leave a like and a comment in the comment section below YouTube, so many more people can find this. And please subscribe to this channel so we can keep on growing and spreading this information to the founders that really need this. So thank you very much for that. All right, so setting growth goals. I think this is one of the hardest parts of growth strategy. What should your goal be? How focused is it? How long should you stick to a goal? When should you give up a goal? That is the question that we want to discuss in this part of the video series. So let's look at the case study that we brought with us for this topic, which is Monday Rocks. You can check them out at the URL below. And they have two different parts of their business. They are in the team performance and team development business. And they have a consulting business, which is here under this URL. I'll show you here, the team analytics one. Or no, the team analytics one is the software, and the team development one is the development. So now we have to make a choice, which way do we want to go? Consulting is really hard to scale. Yeah, it might also not serve very well as the lead generator that they are looking for. So let's focus really strong on that team analytics part. Team analytics is a piece of software, a mobile app, where you can enter all of the positions and see how people are functioning together. They have a free trial if you want to check them out. This is not sponsored or anything by them. We are working together since a couple of weeks, and they were so nice to allow me to use them as a case study. So let's just focus on scaling the software side. That is one very important lesson about setting growth goals. You have to focus. If you have a business with many different parts, you should really consider just focusing for at least 3 months on one area. Which one should you focus on? In my opinion, the one that has the biggest potential in the time frame that you have available, and I would suggest in a time frame of like 3 to 6 months. So what could the bottleneck of a software business be? So let's look at that. Yeah, we have traffic, of course. They have about 1,000 visitors per month, which is not much, but it's decent for a B2B business. But it was never their focus, yeah, so far. Yes, they have some inbound leads coming in, but it's not very clear, not clearly tracked. Sales are coming in, but mainly as like an additional sale within their consulting business. So when they go in and do the team development consulting, it makes sense for the customer to also use the team analytics software. So it's an easy cross-sell. They are making about roughly 2K revenue per month just from the team analytics. The main revenue is coming in through the consulting. And they're wondering like, okay, could we increase this like to 20, 30, 40K a month? Yeah, and what would need to happen for that? Or should they focus on the most important thing of all, the return of investment, like how much time and money they have invested in promoting the software and what they got out of it? What do you guys think? What would you focus on in your own case? What would you focus on in the case of Monday Rocks? I'm really curious, let me know in the comments. So I think the sales is working all right. Once they have a customer that got to know them, they're good at sales, and the product is convincing. So what I would focus on definitely is this area here, leads. And maybe as a means of generating leads, also traffic. But I really want to focus on generating leads. I think that is the main bottleneck. Pumping up some traffic is going to be easy, but converting them into the right lead funnel, that's going to be a challenge. So let me just adjust my lights just a tad. So, all right. Now, we set some very concrete goals here, and I want to share them quite openly with you, and maybe let you get some insights as well during the next couple of weeks on how this is working. So the first goal with the scope of 3 months, I always said 3-month goal, is to bring it up from like maybe 5 to 6 sales a month to 30 sales a month. Why would we go for quintupling it? Because it started so low. Like 30 sales is the first meaningful number of sales that would get the product somewhere. And we set some constraints. I always set a primary goal, yeah. And even though I said I'm focusing in my growth marketing efforts on leads, the final outcome needs to be sales. And there's the constraint of, in the beginning, of a maximum of €3,000 ad budget per month. once we show that the return of advertising spend, which is this beautiful number here, is profitable, that is above 100%, then we can spend more. What does ROAS 125% mean? If I spend 100 euro, I get 125 back. That's as simple as that. And since it's mainly a software product, there is not much additional cost occurring to that besides some server hosting, maybe the appointment setting if people really want to have a personal call before that. But that would have another advantages for the consulting business maybe. And why only so little? Why just make 25% extra? In the very beginning, if a product is not yet proven as a scaled lead generator, we are super happy if it's profitable at all, if it's not losing money. And this is why we started with a very conservative 125% return of advertising spend. But you will see that we focus on the next 6 months on increasing that return of advertising spend to 175, while also increasing the number of sales per month to 60. So this is our 6-month goal. Why so slow? Why so aggressive, you could ask. I'm pretty sure some people are thinking this is way too optimistic, and other people are thinking this is way too slow. Yeah, in 6 months, 60 sales per month, that is too lame. Yeah, it really depends on where you are and how fast you want to grow and how fast you can grow. I set initial goals, but I need to get some feedback from the product during the first weeks that I'm working with, and I need to see how far is the funnel already working. Yeah, what is already working, what is not working, and this is just an estimation. Yeah, this is where the direction that it needs to go. We need to add more sales per month. We need to make it more profitable, to be more fun, and I'm looking actually more to a ROAS of around 400-500%, while the founders would be actually fine if it's like mildly profitable, but the people who are coming into the business are also starting to convert to the consulting business. So they have an infinite lead magnet that creates revenue for them, that pays for itself. We call it a break-even funnel, but that also gets highly qualified people in, because people are paying like 390, 590 euro for the access to this team analytics software. So they are serious about developing their team. So I really like those goals. I wonder what you are thinking about them. And just let me know in the comments what kind of goals you want to set for your business for the next 3 and 6 months. I'm super curious, and then we can talk about it. And you can also ask the question on Slido if you're watching this live, and we will try to figure it out for your business if you provide a link. Cool. So again, this can be a lot of information. You can go to getpirateskills.com/growth strategy, and you can download the slides and all the video recordings, not only of this meetup, but of all the past meetups of the past 2 years under this URL. And yeah, let me know which one of the meetups you like best so far. I would be really curious about that. All right, so what we talked about now is the following. We talked about what is the right growth strategy, what components has it, and how to set the right growth goals. Once we have defined challenging, well-designed goals, which is absolutely the first step, then we can go to start drafting the marketing funnel. This is going to be handled in the next part of this video series. So stay tuned for that. Cool. Again, if you have any questions, go to slido.com and enter the code R and you will end up here. Let's check if we got some more questions in the funnel. Oh, the most upvoted question is about the books right now, with already 4 upvotes. Please let more questions come in. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to answering this in the Q&A section. at the end of this, but thank you already for providing so many questions. So let's go back. If you've gotten any value so far, then please let me know on YouTube by giving me a like and a comment, and maybe even hit the subscribe button with a bell. Thank you very much for that. Cool. So, next part. Let me drink some water. Cheers. I think I'm getting more yellow by the minute. It's getting dark out there. So Christina is sitting over there, by the way. She's in the Discord community answering some questions. Okay, so drafting the first marketing funnel is a key part after you have set your goals in the growth strategy. So if you have created a plan and you said like, okay, I want to create 30 sales per month, as we did in our case study, what is the funnel going to be for that? If you want to check out our case study for today, you can go to monday.rocks and we can now discuss how would a starter funnel look like? Like, what is a starter funnel? If nothing is set up already, it is the first funnel you're going to build, the first landing pages, the first campaigns, the first email segments, the first email series that you're sending out to your leads. That is the starter funnel to me. So what could a starter funnel or how could it look like for Team Analytics? We remember it's a B2B business. It's targeting people in HR, CEOs, and team leaders. And it provides the value by access to a software where people can architect their own team and make them work more smoothly together. All right. So how about we go for a LinkedIn ads funnel? Let's spend some 3,000 euro on LinkedIn ads. At a sweet €5 per click, we get 600 visitors. Maybe they turn into 50 leads, 8 sales, and make 4,000 euros in cash back, which is a sweet return of advertising spend of 1.33. So that would already be profitable, and that would be within the margin that we set ourselves. We just spent 3,000 euro and we made 4 out of it. That is above the goal that we set. We created 8 sales of the software. We earned some roughly 400 euro per sale here. And this would be a very decent funnel. Yeah, can you see like how I changed the labels on the growth marketing treasure map? You can adjust this for you. Try to visualize how your starter funnel might look like. And you might not even want to spend money on ads. Shall we look at the more organic side on LinkedIn? Let's do that. So how about focusing on networking on LinkedIn? How would that look like? So you have an awesome LinkedIn search, even boosted by the Sales Navigator, and you might, in your target group area, you find 2,500 great candidates. And you start to connect to the ones that have the most common connections with you. Let's say you connect to 500 people over a period of 3 months. 250 actually get a message, they accept you, you write them a welcome message, and with about 20%, so 50, you have a serious chat, they seem to be interested, and you can convince 8 out of those to try the product and they actually buy it. And you make, again, 4,000 euros in cash. What did you exchange here? You didn't exchange money for revenue, you exchanged your time for revenue. And it depends on what is more valuable to you and, most importantly, what is actually working. We don't know yet what is working. Is the paid way going to work? That would be wonderful because it's very, very scalable. Or if it's not working alone, we can maybe add the LinkedIn networking strategy to it, which is a bit free, or at least you can invest more time than money here, which will also have a positive result of making you LinkedIn famous and really broadening your network. I think this is what we are going to focus on during the next meetup. All right, so we have 2 funnels that we could go for. Which one would you go for? What would you think is more interesting, the LinkedIn ads one or the LinkedIn networking one? And which out of those two cases should we handle in the upcoming meetups? All right, so we have defined 2 funnels. And what else do I have to think about for myself when I want to create a completely new funnel? And let's think about your case. I want you to think about those 5 categories which we are going to handle piece by piece. So traffic sources, where are the interested people coming from? Lead magnets is what do you have to offer for them? Landing pages are the websites that they land on. The CRM and emails is the system in which you manage all of your contacts that gotten your lead magnet. And then the sales process that you used for that. Let's dive into that. So in this case, with Monday Rocks, I would say it would be most interesting to focus on LinkedIn, and 3 parts of LinkedIn would work there. Personal team profiles, which they can use for sales. They could build up a company page to build their brand, and they could use LinkedIn ads to reach more people that are outside of their immediate network of connections and followers. So I would put 80% of my time on LinkedIn probably. So what they had been running in the past was some Google search ads, and this is why I picked this as the second traffic channel. I might not pick it as the first one, but you're usually not starting on a completely green field. So you have to check out what is already working on Google Ads and see if you can expand on that. And the third traffic source that I would build up and would love to see also for the long-term development of the company is content marketing. They are pretty cool guys and girls in the team that are not shy to stand in front of the camera or write articles. They're very competent and smart, and we should use those resources to really put them out there, to connect with other people, to share their knowledge and the great success stories they have from the consulting business. So I think content marketing would be nice. Maybe some SEO partnerships and event stuff in the follow-up. I think those would be the best traffic sources for a case like Monday Rocks. Next, what we need are lead magnets. So lead magnets are freebies, usually free or low-priced goodies that actually help your audience. So you are solving a problem for a customer. That means the customer is in a situation that he's not satisfied with and he wants to go here, and your product is providing the way between, or maybe a part of that way. And what are other parts of this journey that your audience is struggling with that you can help them with? And this is what we use as lead magnets. So I thought about what would be the smartest lead magnets we could do. They have an app that's very common to have a free trial at some point. So they could offer the app for free for a certain number of days. Or they could limit the functionality of the app so that people can already get an idea of how it actually looks and feels like, and they would just get rid of the hurdle of them having to pay or put in their credit card in the beginning. Another really underestimated lead magnet are posters. So we are talking here about team architecture. I can completely imagine like how we can build a poster around that. They have a great designer on the team, which is an asset I really would use. And I would create posters that I could imagine would land in the office on the wall of the people who are buying those this software. And it's not going to be actual real physical posters. It's going to be PDFs. Imagine like pretty detailed PowerPoint slides or Keynote slides as a downloadable PDF. It's working really well because it's very snackable content. It's not overwhelming like a complete ebook or a 2-hour webinar. They can also offer a free consulting call. Yeah, if they want to offer people like answers to team challenges, they could do that, or they could host a regular webinar and then there test different topics on what people are most interested in. And that's what I would do in terms of lead magnets. What would you do for your own business? So the next part is then landing pages. Each lead magnet that you spend valuable time in deserves to have its own landing page that really focuses on creating that. This landing page here, for example, is focused on scheduling an appointment so you can get more information and some free consulting. So after the landing page, you have to think about how to nurture your leads. So let's look at that. Here we have your CRM. People now entered their contact data for their to download the poster. They now get a nice welcome email, and the welcome email sends them to another landing page that has either another lead magnet or that gives them the opportunity to upgrade to the app. So this could be a nice value-driven landing page here. Then people maybe visit the landing page or not. They definitely get here email number 2. And that maybe calls them to action to make an appointment with your sales team. So they make that appointment, hopefully. They do it, and now they get another email, which reminds them of the appointment. And then you have them on the phone, and hopefully you can convert that into some dough. Yeah, and that is how lead nurturing works, like in general. It doesn't need to be email, doesn't need to be on the phone. It can be a complete online experience, like an e-commerce checkout and some retargeting ads. But you have to consider how to nurture your leads. So then we want to convert those leads into loyal customers, and that is not always completely obvious what we want to do, especially in the case of Monday Rocks. It would be very, very convenient if we could build a complete online checkout, no sales calls involved, and having it extremely scalable. But until the phone call method is really tried and true and working, it's really hard to automate it. If you can't sell it on the phone with personal contact, it's really hard to sell it without any touch points. So I usually go for the human supported sales funnel first and then try to automate it there. But there are also other considerations. Do they want to stick right now with the one-time price, or do they want to switch to a subscription model? The advantage of the one-time price is it might sound very compelling to a company to just pay once and then have unlimited access, but it might also have the disadvantage that there is no incentive to actively keep using the app. So what if they drop out because they just lost the commitment? Because they somehow, like 2 years ago, somebody in the company created an account, paid the money for it, but now there's no hook, no subscription that keeps you to go back and get the value out of the app. And then, of course, there is pricing. With all software businesses, pricing is completely value driven. Yeah, it's arbitrary. It's not based on how much it costs to deliver the software. Then every software product should cost like 10 euros a month at the very most. So having a price of $3.90 as a starting tier could be the right one, could not be. Maybe it's better to go for 99 euro per month. Maybe it's better to go for 999 euro for the starting tier. We have to try this, and we have to see where do we get people through the customer journey more smoothly with good value for them and a good return of investment for our time and efforts. So that's what I think about in terms of generating that first kind of funnel, the marketing funnel in my head. If you got any value so far, so then leave me a like and a sub on the YouTube channel. Would really love that. And let's see what we got lined up next. So we talked about the growth marketing strategy in general in the first video part. And then in the second part, we talked about creating the right growth goals. And now we got that into the practice. How would a funnel actually look like that would get us to that goal? Yeah, and we talked about the 5 aspects that helped us to craft that funnel. And now we have to go one step more concrete. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how to turn that idea, that draft of a funnel, now into a disciplined roadmap with priorities that helps you to get results as soon as possible. So again, you can ask your questions about this part on slido.com. If you enter our code, then you will see it. Let's check it out. How many questions we already got in here. This looks wonderful. 7 questions so far and some decent upvotes. So we need more questions in this. I want to go here and see 12 questions by the end of this. Thank you very much for everybody who has already asked a question. And just check out the Slido software. It's amazing for me. So, of course, after the meetup, we usually hang out a little bit in the Discord community. It's like a chat server where you have voice and text chat and even video sharing. And we usually hang out a little bit after the meetup. So, so we can just get to know each other and to facilitate some of that community aspect of a meetup, because some of us are already starting to miss seeing each other in the real world. So join us on Discord, and it will also stick around after the meetup, and you can ask your questions, share your cases in there, and there are always helpful people, including my team and myself, who are going to answer your questions. All right. So next part. Let me get a sip of water. So this is the last part of the video segment, of this video segment. Planning your growth roadmap is an art. It's an art of prioritizing, of defining which step you want to do after one another in order to reach your goal in the end. Again, how would this look like for our case study, Monday Rocks? How could we get results as soon as possible without just building some fanfare, super fancy analytics setup, a funnel that might or might not work? We want to get results now while balancing that with caring for the long-term goals of the company. Right now for Monday Rocks, I would really focus on generating that lead magnet number 1. The only thing that is currently available is the making an appointment for a sales call, essentially. But what we need is something that provides value, that is more, that requires less commitment, to get people interested and to filter those people that are really caring about team development. Another thing that we have already started on is to set up the basic retargeting campaigns. Retargeting means that once people have been on the website or interacted with our social media profiles, they keep on hearing from us through banners and videos throughout the web, which is really cheap to do, but which gives you like the omnipresence of that remarketing does. Like, you can't escape the brand anymore. Yeah, you might have made the mistake of shopping on Zalando. You will never get rid of the banner ads for a long while. So doing that in the right dose, not to annoy people, but to do it in a really nice and sophisticated B2B style way. And we have to get some basic prospecting campaigns. Prospecting is pretty much the other side of the coin to remarketing. Remarketing focuses on the people that you already had contact with, and prospecting tries to get fresh new people into your funnel for retargeting later. And this could be done through search ads, for example, people searching for relevant team development and training terms. They might be interested in a team analytics software as well. And what we got to do is to get the basic analytics set up right. That means to have like Google Analytics, maybe Facebook and LinkedIn pixels set up in a GDPR friendly way. And my setting up the ability to see what people are doing that come from the lead magnet or the campaign, and to see what is actually happening in each step of the customer journey. But just a basic funnel, nothing wild, basic analytics setup, nothing really crazy. And then later, and what I would push back now until those 4 points are done at the top, is the very important but very time-consuming topic of content marketing and SEO, email sequences in your CRM, and the more advanced prospecting campaigns through multiple channels. They are all very important to do over time, but when I build the roadmap, I try to define, okay, what can I get done in the first month? Yeah, so I can hopefully see results very quickly. This is not always happening. There is no guarantee for it, but I choose the steps that have the highest probability of resulting in real world results. So think about what that would be for your own startup, for your own business. What are the result producing experiments that you can start this week or today that would get you there? And having a good lead magnet on a good landing page with some remarketing campaigns, it's really hard to go wrong with that recommendation. All right, so we said that we want to go for the paid marketing channel, and let's build that system out a little bit more. Again, we played with some numbers. Let's go through them again. We are spending 3,000 euros on paid advertising on LinkedIn, preferably in this case, and we get about 600 visitors. Don't be surprised by the high cost per visitor. It's €5 to get a visitor to your website. On LinkedIn, it can easily be 12 euros. Yeah, it's not a cheap platform for cheap clicks, but it's a platform that in B2B has an unmatched targeting system. So what you get there are pretty high quality people. Of course, it's no guarantee for them to work. It's still a high investment, and you can only do this if you have a high value product on the other hand, and the potential for an even higher value upsell. So what do we expect? For the 600 visitors, hopefully 50 people, less than 10%, are convinced, get that lead magnet, want an appointment, are interested, and 8 of those 50 people are going to buy the team analytics software for about 500 euros. Some take the lower priced one, some the higher priced version. We end up at a rough average shopping cart size of 500 euros. And that gives us 4,000 euros in cash. That would be a really fun game to play as often as we could. Right now, the focus is on getting that done once a month. Yeah. All right. So let's start building that up. Now that we have made the decision to build that initial funnel, we now have to get all of the ideas, all of the to-dos into our growth board. A growth board is something that I use to always have the next most important thing that needs to be done very clearly structured. Maybe you're familiar with some agile software development methods or Kanban methods in general. What I like to do is, let me show you. By the way, you can download this at getpirateskills.com/growth management. This is just a Trello board. You can just take a screenshot, or you can copy the whole Trello board into your own account. If you like that, if you work in Asana, keep using Asana and just create a board there. So the first thing that I want to do is to very clearly write down the goal. It's maybe hard to read here, so let me read it for you. The goal on this fictional Kanban board is to increase the traffic to users to 100 people per day. Yeah. We could also put in the 30 sales per month, or we could pick up the goal from the slide before that. how many leads did we have here? Like the roughly 50 leads. I think this would be a good time to focus on that kind of goal at the moment. So having that very, very clearly on your growth board on the left-hand side always helps when you generate ideas to more easily evaluate what's working and what's not working. And what I do then, here, this is number one. And number two would be then to just brainstorm like crazy ideas. What would get me 50 leads? What do I need to do? Don't go for quality. Don't discuss ideas yet. Have everybody in your team add ideas on what could work. And make sure that you also ask the people who are a bit more quiet on your team to add some ideas as well. Then you pick like up 5 to 10 ideas that have where you really think like that feels good. Then you start prioritizing those ideas into a very clear order in which you want to realize them. Then you put them into experiments every week. You look at the board, you see like what is the next most important experiment that I can do, and then you are very transparent with the results and share it with your team. This was working, this is not working, and this is absolute part of the growth strategy. You need to become much more agile in your marketing. You can't just write every day a social media post and expect stuff to happen. You have to look which kind of posts are working. Should I even be writing posts, or should I use my time for something much more valuable? Yeah, and you have to make that decision. Cool. So since I said that not all the ideas we have to realize that funnel are created equal, you have to have a way to prioritize them. And one way that was popularized by Sean Ellis is the ICE method. ICE stands for impact, confidence, ease. Every idea has a certain impact on your goal. You have to have your goal burning in your mind. 50 leads per month, I need those. If I do LinkedIn ads for 3,000 euro, how high is the impact, or how do I believe is the impact on that goal? If I compare that to, for example, building like 10 articles to generate SEO for that, this doesn't have impact on my goal to generate 50 leads within the next like 4 to 12 weeks. Yeah, that would be a 6 to 9 month strategy. The second part is confidence. So how confident am I that the 3,000 euro invested in LinkedIn ads are actually going to produce the result? And then I'm thinking like, if I would have to give it a percentage of probability in my mind that it works. So I would probably say impact on a scale from 1 to 10 is probably an 8 or 9. Confidence would be a bit less certain, maybe a 6. And ease to launch it. Ease is how hard is it, or how expensive is it to realize that. So I have the 3K, I know how to do LinkedIn ads. I essentially have to build the main funnel, but that's not the part of that experience that I want to rate for ease. It's pretty easy to set up a LinkedIn campaign once you have done it a couple of times. So I would probably give it an 8. So we have an 8 or 9 on the impact, a 6 on confidence, and an 8 on ease. So this is a high priority item. If you rate all of your ideas that you have, you will notice that you have a lot of shitty ideas. That is that area. Then you have some mediocre ideas, and sometimes you find this golden nugget and it's a star and it rocks. I personally lost the confidence in my ability to predict which one out of 20 ideas is going to be the one that's going to work. I've decided that I go for the one that I think is most likely based on data and instinct. And I rely much more on the systematic experimentation and going through those ideas to find the one than just to hope that yes, the next one, that's going to be the one. It requires some patience, but it gets you to where you want to go at a much higher chance. So we prioritize them, and now we need to keep improving the speed and the quality of our insights. And this usually works like this. You generate ideas, you prioritize them, you test them, you analyze. In your analysis, you see this didn't work, this did work. Let's do more of what worked and do less of what didn't work. Now we have new ideas. We prioritize them, test them, and analyze them. After a while, a couple of sprints that I usually do weekly, you are such an expert for your audience and your product that it's really hard for external experts to compete with you. So, and this is what I keep on trying to teach people. You have to build the mental models and the expertise for yourself inside your own teams. Maybe use some people to get yourself set up, but then try to understand and generate the insights. You have a much higher than incentive to make your product and audience successful than anybody else. So just rely on that. All right. The last point I always do is I make a very simple weekly performance review. Usually like Monday or Friday, I set up a table like this, and this could be data from Monday Rocks. It is not data from Monday Rocks, but this is pretty realistic results that I estimate for the upcoming weeks. So let's go through this. Let's spend, let's say, 900 euro on week 4. We get now we want to track the ad spend. We want to track the CPC, which is how much did we spend per click. This is €5.32. Then the click-through rate. This is how many people actually click on the ad that has been shown, 1.7%. And we generate 137 visitors on our landing page. 7.5% of those visitors become leads. Those leads are 10. And we have a cost per lead of 89 euros, which is expensive, but at least we got leads. Yes, we closed the first sale. 1 out of 10 could be better. Yeah, but hey, we got our first sale. Let's be happy about that. We have a cost per sale of 913 euros. We spend 500 euros in our own time, which leaves us a ROAS of 54%. So we spent 100 euro and we made 54 back. Not a great result, but a start. Yeah, we have to start somewhere. You cannot expect that your first weeks of experimentation is immediately going to be profitable. If that is true for you, you're going to be up and running against some really tough competition, because if other people find out how easy it is to make money in that niche, they will hammer into that niche and you will not have such great numbers anymore. I like to be profitable on day one, of course, but I like to have a way to earn it. So you see that after the first week, after week number 4, in week 5, we already see some improvements. We now see that we spent some more money, of course, but the ads got a bit cheaper. We got more visitors. We got an improved conversion rate because we changed some stuff on the landing page. We are now down to 70 euro per lead, and we are actually having 2 sales, which gets us a ROAS of 88.7, pretty close to break even. Breaking even is the most wonderful feeling in the world for a growth marketer, especially if it did not happen from the beginning. There is so clearly a time before and after break even. You wouldn't be able to understand if you haven't lived through that change period. Once you have broken even, you don't have an ad budget anymore. You just try to spend as much money and to be as profitable as possible, and to impact and reach the most people. Until you are profitable, you're always like, oh, advertising, that's such a big cost. I don't want to spend more than 1,000 euro per month, me. No, after you have broken even, it's like, shit, how can I spend $1,000 per day? Yeah, let's look at a positive development in week 12. So now we are spending more money because we have broken even. So we are not anymore under the rule of 3,000 euro per month. So we can spend 2,456 euros per week. No problem at all. We pay a little bit less in CPC. We get better click-through rates because we now understand what our audience is actually interested in terms of ads. We made some more improvement and got better lead magnets, and 10% of the people are actually signing up who land on our landing page. Our leads are now down to 52 euros. We make 7 sales, and we have a cost per sale of 351 with an average basket size of still 500 euros. So we didn't even improve on the basket size. Yeah, and now you can see that we have a return of advertising spend of 142, which is well on the way to our 6-month goal of 175. So this is this very simple performance review, and I even update those numbers manually, like for my own business, every week, or build like a data studio, something that updates that. It's such a clear view of what is really happening. And facing reality once a week is essential to make fast progress. And this is how I start every growth session. Like, how did the last week go? Here we go. Let's look at the numbers. And then you go eat, sleep, grow, repeat, and keep going through that cycle. Optimize your growth map, optimize your content, your funnel, your analytics, your traffic, your conversion rate optimization methods and tools. And that's just an ongoing cycle that just helps you to become like a machine for your own audience and your product. And I really hope that this case study from Monday Rocks, and thank you again, Monday Rocks, for letting us share this case study, helped you to make it more concrete and apply it to your own business. Cool. So if that was helpful at all, please do me a favor and sub on the YouTube. We are now at 329 subscribers. That is not okay. So please help us out, share it with some friends, and just force them to press that sub button. I'd totally go for that. Thank you for that. So that's it. We talked about what a growth strategy is, how to set the right goal, how to draft the marketing funnel. And in this video segment, it was all about planning a growth roadmap. That leaves us open for the grand Q&A, which you can add your own question if you're watching this live. So thank you very much already for listening to me for so long. And let's dive into some Q&A. All right, so we welcome you to the growth strategy Q&A. That's the last segment of this series. And we usually start this off by asking you for your feedback on how helpful this meetup was for you. So if you go to slido.com, I will activate the live poll, and we ask a simple question, like, how likely are you to recommend this event to a friend or colleague? That gives us an indication of what we could do and improve, and we will ask you after this questionnaire how we could make that improvement better for you. So just give us an honest score, no pressure to give like 8, 9, 10 points. Go, be honest. And I thank you already for your feedback. This is like our treasure that makes us better and better every week. So I see the first results coming in. Let's look at it live. Thank you for the 10. Mr. Anonymous 1, we got an 8, we got a 9. Can we get a 0? No, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so we got some questions lined up already. Christina, how many questions have we got in our wonderful for the Q&A?
8, oh no, it's even more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, about 9 or 10 questions.
9 or 10 questions. Thank you guys. Like, after you have entered this, we have another idea poll. So keep on adding more votes here on this. We usually wait until we have like 10 to 12 votes. So please join us on slido.com, enter the code R, because that's where you can vote on the question of this segment of the video. Yeah, and you can make it yours. And I hope this makes it much more relevant for you. So just 2 more votes, and I will let you handle the ideas on how to improve that experience. And I just keep this open. So it seems to be a tie between the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. So let me open the ideas. So, oh, the topic limit has been achieved. So the next question is, you can switch back between the ideas and the voting if you want to give your vote as well. But the question now is, how could we improve the meetup experience for you? I know many of you are happy with it. I'm super happy what the team made, but there's always room for improvement. And we are always looking for the edge and making it more concrete for you. Creating this completely based on a case study with Monday Rocks actually was an idea that many have come up with again and again. Ben, can we do this more concretely? Do you have real numbers? Do you have a case study? Now we do all the upcoming meetups based on real world case studies. So you can absolutely dive deep, yeah, into something more concrete and see real life results, yeah, once they have come in. So I would really appreciate some ideas from you guys. I leave this open and I now start with the Q&A magic. All right, let's switch back. Okay, so let me switch back for a second. Cool. So let's get on with the growth strategy Q&A. I thank you very much to everybody who has given feedback, who has added their questions, and now we can dive into the most upvoted questions for now. So I can already see the most popular question, the first out of 11 question that we are going to answer tonight is, what is the difference for the growth marketing strategy between B2B and B2C models? So I'm guessing lots of you who are in B2C are wondering, like, how's this whole case study been relevant for us here in the B2C land? Because the case study was very heavily in B2B. You're lucky. B2B marketing has become very, very much like B2C marketing. It has become much more personal. But there are some key differences. The main difference is, as I mentioned at the very beginning when I entered the case study, is customer lifetime value. So it's such a big difference if a customer is worth like €5 to you in a mobile app scenario versus a high-end B2B case with €50,000 per customer that you generate. So what's the difference? You can invest much more time and love in establishing the trust and relationship with the B2B customer worth €50,000. It's a bit sad, but it's true. You simply can't send out baskets full of champagne to your €5 in-app purchase customers on your mobile app. So, but the principles are the same. For B2C and for B2B, you want to create a funnel, yeah, get people aware of your business, give them a very easy way to get to know you, which we usually call a lead magnet or a free access, free trial, and then deserve their trust and nurture that lead so that they want to purchase your product. That is fundamentally that funnel perspective, or that lead nurturing that gets them into the core more and more and more. That perspective, that is always true. What is also different are, of course, the marketing channels that we look into. So On B2C, it's much more, it's absolutely reasonable to go for Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat ads. You can even have a big chance if you're in a popular B2C niche to go completely organic or even viral. Yeah, that's just not happening on B2B segments. For B2B, the main traffic sources might be cold calls, might be LinkedIn, might be mail jobs. Yeah, and that's where I see the difference. You can also in B2B afford more investment into a really good CRM. Let's say you can easily afford a HubSpot or an ActiveCampaign. In B2C, you have to think about, oh, what is the cheapest CRM I can get where I can still send out emails with my 10,000 customers that I add every quarter. Yeah, that's more that idea. So those are the main differences, but I have seen that the tactics have grown more and more close together over the past few years, definitely. So that was the first question. Now, next question. Which books would I recommend about growth strategy? So let me go to my library and pick some for you. So this one, and this one, and this one. All right, so the first book I would recommend is Hacking Growth by Sean Ellis. He's the founder of growthhackers.com. He kind of made the term growth hacking popular. And he was here in Cologne, and I went to one of his workshops, and it was so nice to sign this copy. And he read, like, keep pushing the hacking growth approach. And I hope I really stand to that. So that is the first book, Hacking Growth. It lays out the fundamentals. It's also very good for big companies. For medium-sized companies, and not just for marketing, it's the book Scaling Up. It goes way beyond marketing. It is a complete handbook that focuses on the 4 parts like people, strategy, execution, and cash. You can see it down here. And even though this is written by consultants, I've never seen such a detailed, concrete manual to scaling up businesses. It's absolutely fascinating. So then the last one, Dot-Com Secrets, and the other books by Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is the marketer I would pay most to learn from personally. Easily. He's the founder of a SaaS software called ClickFunnels. Not a huge fan of that one, but his concepts and ideas and his experience is absolutely, it's hard to compete with somebody who can look at hundreds of thousands of funnels within their own software and see how they are working. To learn from that kind of guy, go for that. All right. Hope that answers your questions. If you have cool book recommendations, I would love to hear them in the comments. Yeah, so leave them in the comments. What books have helped you to improve your growth strategy? Cool. The next one. So what would you recommend for smaller businesses with a limited know-how and budget regarding growth strategy? How to start, how to build? Thank you. I would suggest go to the first part of this video segment series about growth strategy and just go for each step that I just mentioned in the last 4 segments. I'm serious. That was my outcome. My goal to make it very transparent on how to go for it, paid and non-paid. If I would just start from scratch. So as I said, I would define a very clear growth goal, where you want to be in 3 and 6 months. Then I would draft a very basic funnel that needs to have a traffic source, which can be organic. If you're in B2B, it's LinkedIn easily. If you're in B2C, go for Instagram, for example. Then you need a website, for example, in WordPress. that offers people something that they really value and that qualifies them to be a potential customer of yours. And then you nurture those people with an email sequence, for example, and then invite them to buy your product. That's it. And then you improve this process and make it better and better and better on a weekly basis. Cool. Next question is, how does a funnel for a customized B2B product focus on customer input look like? Customer software development. Custom software development. Okay, very good. So we are essentially talking about a software agency that is building custom software for other companies. Yeah, so definitely clearly a B2B product. In general, high value. Most software starts like from 10, 15K to 150K, like in that region. So your biggest problem is that there are so many of those agencies out there and you have to stand out. So I would focus on something that most software companies just don't do, which is excellent content marketing. Think about who's your core audience, what problems do you solve for them, and how can you put that into videos and articles and posters and do that. If you want a recommendation for a company who's doing that excellently in the IT base realm, it's leanix.net. Yeah, check them out. They have fantastic content marketing. It's a startup here from Bonn, Germany. And I really appreciate their demand generation efforts. We have one of the past meetups recorded with them. I think actually even two. Yeah, one with their VP of marketing and one with a woman actually executing their LinkedIn strategy. I learned so much in that one. All right. So the next question is there a way to protect the LinkedIn content that is getting shared by coworkers who could possibly leave the company in the future? Is there a way to protect the LinkedIn content that is getting shared by coworkers? Would I worry about that? That is the bigger question. Yes, I see that. And in the next meetup, we are going to talk exactly about that. I think like 2 or 3 meetups ago, we talked about LinkedIn content magic, and this is why I already discussed that topic. That when you build up a team of people on LinkedIn, one of the members might leave and take all of the followers and content away with them. And there is no way to protect yourself, maybe by putting it into a contract, but why would you? Yeah, they are still a post out there for you, essentially making you look good. By having their reach on their profile with the content that you provided there. There's nothing also that keeps you from resharing the most valuable content pieces again on new team member profiles. There is nothing against repurposing content that has been shared in the past. If it's still valuable, you can still share it. So I personally try not to worry about that point. I am rather more interested in building up more people in my team to become LinkedIn influencers. Cool. So, how would you set up a growth marketing strategy for just one department, online marketing, within an advertising agency? All right. I like that one. So you're a bigger agency, you want to focus on, you want to make promo for your online marketing agency. If I were you, I would probably go into like a document, don't create content marketing strategy. Document, don't create is a saying by Gary Vee. It essentially says like, show what you're doing all day. Because you are professional online marketers, you have a shit ton of case studies. You have to anonymize them as well, of course. Yeah, if you want to share some of it, or you have to ask your clients if they are willing to share their information with the public, which might be a help for them. But you need to forget what you are doing on a day-to-day basis out there. You are formulating online marketing strategies probably on a weekly basis. Where am I seeing that online? Where can I discover that? These meetups, local meetups or live streams are just that. I'm documenting what I'm doing anyways. I put this into a nice presentation, split them up in 4 parts plus a Q&A, and I make that visible for the world to see and challenge my process. Yeah, I can get good comments, I can get bad comments, I can learn so much from that. So that's how I would go about that. And then I would do the following. You have this content basis now, and now you start promoting it with advertising. Could be on LinkedIn, could be on Facebook. Facebook is still very effective for B2B. And I would take a part of the revenue that comes in through this content plus promotion funnel, let's say 20% of the revenue or the profit of the project that came through that, and put that on top of your base advertising budget. And then you will automatically grow that budget and your fame and glory. Cool. All right, let's answer the next question. How do you set goals to increase reach? Okay, reach has a couple of components. Impressions, so I expect you're talking about paid reach, maybe you're talking about organic, but let's assume both. So you have impressions, how many times was your content seen? And reach is usually how many people have seen your content, which results into frequency. How many times have the people you have reached seen any piece of your content? So those things. Then I would actually be more interested in, you have the absolute numbers now, reach, impressions, frequency. But now what is your engagement rate? How many people actually engage with your content in, like, as a percentage? And all of the big platforms usually provide that kind of engagement rate with you as a click-through rate, as a comment rate, stuff like that. That is much more interesting, to create content that actually causes engagement, which increases your reach. Imagine you're the owner of Facebook or LinkedIn. Which content are you giving more reach? The one that people engage with, or the content that people find boring and don't engage with? So I would focus on what creates reach. And engagement is one of the core components of what actually creates reach. Then I want to compare, how much does reach cost me on the paid platforms? What is the cost to reach 1,000 people? What is the cost per engagement, for example? Those two factors. And one platform that fascinates me no end at the moment in terms of cost per reach is Pinterest. It's like 1 to 2 euros to reach 1,000 people. That is not trash traffic as on most native advertising platforms. On native advertising platforms like recommended articles, you get that prices, but you get trash traffic. On Pinterest, the quality of the traffic is as good as Facebook and Instagram, and I'm super surprised by that. So if you have a demographic that fits into the Pinterest audience, I would definitely take a look there. So you can see I'm looking at the absolute numbers and I'm looking at the causes of reach, and then at the price of reach. This is how I think about setting goals. So I would set a goal like, I want to increase my reach by X% or X thousand of people I reach per month. I want to have at least an engagement rate of X%, and I don't want to spend more than X euro to earn that reach. That's my answer to that question. All right, so no, that's not done yet. Oh, I checked off some questions that I didn't answer yet. I'm sorry, Christina will fix that. So the next question is, let me translate on the fly. This is German. On the last spreadsheet with the leads and the click-through rate, etc., what would you have to do? How would you apply that to LinkedIn and Google Ads? So because I just said ad spend, I do exactly what you said. I just have this one column that says like total ad spend, but below that I split all of the ad spends by funnel and the click-through rate and the CPC per channel. So I can see what is my cost, even like the cost per lead. Like comparing, for example, LinkedIn and Google ads in terms of cost per lead, it's like it has nothing to do with each other. So I need to know which of the channels and which campaigns even within that channel are providing a profitable cost per lead. The problem with that is that it gets increasingly complex. So try to keep the weekly performance review as simple as possible by, for example, just splitting the ad budget by the channels, and leave the detailed analysis within the advertising tool. Look at it in Google Analytics or Facebook Analytics and check out for each campaign what is the CPC, the click-through rate, the cost per lead, the cost per sale, the return of advertising spend. You can never go as deep as you need to in a spreadsheet. So keep that as simple as possible. Cool. Christina, thank you for fixing my mistake. So let's go for another live translation. I would be interested in how far like generating leads of app installs or registrations are different, like in growth marketing. So difference in lead gen versus app installs, lead gen, app installs compared to registrations. Let me think about that. Yeah, I think I get it. Yeah, you want to have what's the difference between the B2B lead gen model versus like app installs or registration? Like that is the dimension. Those are the two differences. The biggest difference for me is that for app installs and registrations, you have to go for the one-shot kill. People like it or not. You cannot afford to have them jump through too many hoops. Otherwise, they become too expensive. With a B2B lead gen, you can have like 20 touch points. Yeah, until they finally become a lead. You can send them 20 emails, have them in your CRM for a year, nurture them, and then they become customers at some point. That is the biggest difference. For apps, you have to go for one-shot kills. Your ads and your content needs to be so awesome that people say, bam, I just want to go for it. I want to install that app. I want to register for it. And that also means that much more than in B2B land, your app installs and registration needs to be smooth AF. If there is any inconvenience, a customer will always give you the finger and say, no, I can spend my time somewhere else. While on the B2B lead gen side, they are much more forgiving. Yeah, B2B customers are used to work with clunky software, and they're more patient, and they have a much higher commitment to make towards you. So they invest more time in making a decision. Yeah, that's the biggest difference. All right. Getting to the last three questions. So how would you set up the weekly plan for companies that also have to calculate their time to fulfill the sales next to ad spend? Yes, that's a really tough one. To be honest, I don't. Yeah, I try to ignore the cost of personnel for some time. Once I'm profitable in the ad region while ignoring the cost for the salespeople, except if it's like a commission thing. If it's sales for commission, I add that in immediately. But if you are just being paid month by month fixed salary, I try to ignore that for a while, which is wrong, I know, but it's practical. And I try to make the advertising spend profitable. Then I start to worry about calculating all kinds of shit, like sales, like the office space, like buying software to fulfill it, by mistakes, by returns. I try to add that once I've proven that my paid advertising channel is already profitable. All right. Second to last question. Which tools would you recommend to use? I had a complete meetup all about tools that you can find here. Let's go there. get.pirateskills.com/free. That hopefully sends us to the landing page where you can see all of the meetups, and there you can see level up your growth marketing stack. Here you have a complete meetup all about the tools that you would use. In terms of the growth strategy, you need a good notepad, you need a Trello board or something similar to that, and you need your mind. That is the most important tool. If you're talking about software, that's the meetup you want to watch. All right, last but not least question. What tools do you use for creating this weekly list? Oh, I use Google Docs in general. If you don't have Google Docs, you usually have access to some Microsoft spreadsheet madness. Go for that. But I prefer if you mean the weekly list, the spreadsheet, I use Google Docs. If you mean the Kanban board, yeah, for tracking the ideas, priorities, and active tests, I use Trello or Asana. Cool. Last question. Oh my God. I'm going to keep on ranting about this one, right? So why did Apple not launch the new iMac yet? Good question. I wonder that myself. I wonder who put that question in here to discuss. Might have been some redhead around here. So I've been bugging my team about getting an iMac for quite a while, and we keep on doing that. I now have a rented MacBook in front of me, just because Apple did not release the new iMac yet. But let's hope for the next 4 weeks that they will come out with the last Intel iMac and the last stable Mac for the next 2 years. Thank you very much for that amazing question. Let's go back to them slides. So, if you love this, yeah, then join us for the next meetup on July 15th. That is in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about growing your LinkedIn network. We showed you the nice little path of paid advertising. And after that, we showed you how we can use LinkedIn search, make connection requests, chat with people, sell, have revenue on a completely organic basis. And I want to discuss that in detail with you on July 15th. So if you are interested in how to expand your LinkedIn network, then this is the one for you. A couple of months ago, we talked about the content strategy, which is to me the baseline of honest LinkedIn networking. But after you have set your good content strategy, now it's your responsibility to expand your network and get in touch with the people who are engaging with your content. So go to getpirateskills.com/LinkedIn-network and get a free ticket for that. And we will have a live stream at 7 p.m. Central European time again on July 15th. Love to see you there. So that's it. That's how we do the whole growth strategy enchilada. If you are interested in deepening that for your own business, we do have a workshop series which handle those 6 topics exactly. If you want to check that out, go to growth.pirateskills.com. I also think it's a good example for a landing page. Without tooting my own horn too much, Matti, our designer and my business partner, he helped me a lot with making that nice. So take a look at that. If you're looking for an example of a good landing page and good GDPR cookie consent. Cool. Then join me in the Discord community now. I will hang out in one of the voice channels. It's like live stream voice channel called. And there you can just activate your microphone and we can chat for a little bit after the meetup. So go to get.pirateskills.com/Discord to join our free community. And leave a sub and a like and a little comment on the YouTubes. That really helps the algorithm and I would absolutely appreciate it from you. So that's it. That was the Build a Solid Growth Strategy meetup. You can get all of the information that we have at getpyramidskills.com/growth-strategy. And I will see you on Discord in the voice channel in a couple of minutes. Thank you all. Bye-bye.